shit. You turn it up a little further there.
Yeah.
Did you bring the book down?
No.
You fucking piece of shit.
Hold on a second.
Wow.
I'm going to do something for you.
Yeah, we're going to pause.
I want to do something I've never done before. So this week, we have Clear, number 1, from, let me see here, Scott Snyder and...
Francis Manipool?
Yes. This was an interesting, because we've never done this before. When you told that to me, I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure that was a Comixology original.
What?
So, yeah, it was released digitally on Comixology. So if you have Comixology Unlimited, you could read it. So I was like, oh, cool. Kind of a weird thing. So I guess Dark Horse is the one actually publishing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because this was a part of that that big Scott Snyder deal that we talked about when we first started, way back when we first started.
Way back, yeah.
A few months into it or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he signed like
feels like a lifetime ago.
8 original projects. That was one of them. So yeah, this is the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's set in this like cyberpunk futuristic backdrop, and I think it does what Snyder does really well, which is plays with suspense and mystery, and because again, I was going back and reading those Batman books, and that's what I liked so much about the Court of Owls, is how he played with the mystery of who they are.
Right.
And
well, the guy's the costume is pretty rad. I mean, he's got 2 handprints, bloody handprints, as his eyes on his motorcycle helmet, which is kind of cool.
And I love the art. The art is great.
Art is great. It reminds me a lot of like J. Scott Campbell from Gen 13, and also early Mark Silvestri. Who was a long-time artist on the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men back in the day. And he was also one of the Image and Top Cow guys with Jim Lee. But yeah, the art is fantastic. But basically what's happened is that at some point, like every economy basically collapses, and people go into this stuff, and it's basically like an uplink to your brain. It's called veils.
Yeah.
Or they drugs. But basically, you see everything
like
the way you want to.
Yeah, it's an uplink is because he talks about how when they found out that you are a computer and you are a hard drive, the hard drive is your brain.
Right.
Like that's when people
they unlocked it. Yeah.
They're like jacking into their minds.
So they talk about this at one other point. Do you remember the barf simulation in? I want to say it's Civil War. When he's talking about say goodbye to your father, and like, bye, Dad. Like, that's how I wish it would have turned out. Is that Civil War? Iron Man, where he
in
does
the beginning when he does, yeah.
This is the barf simulation.
Yeah, I think that was Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember how he turns everything off, and there's still like solid objects?
Yeah.
They're not the objects that you saw, but they're there to represent solidness to make the simulation more whatever, right?
Yeah.
They talk about this at one point because Sam Dunes, the main character, is a detective, and he has refused to use any veil. So he sees things as they are.
Yeah.
And he talks about at one point how everything is sterile because everything is now designed to be veiled.
Right. It's
so like
everything
buildings,
nothing
drab
pops anymore.
Yes,
There's no
everything's
billboards,
drab because
nothing.
everybody's using this uplink to make it look like whatever they want.
And I
thought that was interesting.
I like that this is kind of very. It's fun because it seems like with these Comixologies on Snyder, he's doing genre stuff, and I like it. I really like that he's playing.
It's kind of noir a little bit.
But that's what I mean. This is a tech noir cyberpunk thriller. So like, and that's why I like it. It hits all the notes for me because those are all things that I enjoy.
Oh, I saw the cover and I was like, Katie and James this week at Mayhem. Katie, she said it was too early.
Oh yeah, by the way. Thanks, Mayhem.
I love to get a jump on it on Wednesdays because I've had Wednesdays off a lot, lately, so I love to go in there like around 1 o'clock and be like, sweet, and get my comics. But she was gave me a choice between a book that was Emily Kubert or Kubert. I don't know how you pronounce it, but there's these famous artists. There's a guy, and then he had two sons, Andy and Adam, and then I think she's one of their daughters. And she gave me a choice between that one, which was kind of fantasy related, and this one. And I thought, we kind of did fantasy with that first book. We kind of did horror with the second. Let's do like Cyberpunk with the third instead of going back to fantasy. So even though I've said I don't want to influence it in any way, shape, or form, I did get a choice, and this is the one I chose. And I think I did a pretty good one.
Yes.
I still want to read that other one just because I'm really... If you're a fan of comic books over the last 40 years, you know the Kubert name. Kubert. I don't know how you pronounce it.
That's a guess. Don't.
No, that's how you spell it. But, I mean, with Stephen Colbert,
yeah,
I always have thought of it as a French name, like, so it's Kubert. But for all I know, it's Kubert or Kubert. I don't know.
Which is by the way, this is an interesting...
But the grandpa has, like, a art academy that's been advertised in comic books forever.
I like, again, that he's doing genre stuff. So we're sticking with the idea of corporations controlling everything in this cyberpunk dystopia,
Yes.
And so, yeah, with the veils that everybody has, you can pretty much create, and he talks about it. You can make whatever reality you want, and just
where everybody wants you, where everybody's dead.
Yeah, you just whatever you want, whatever your heart could desire. And again, it's not that far off from what we see with like social media and like how algorithms work on everything that you use, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or TikTok, YouTube. Everything's got an algorithm and everything's catered to you. So it makes perfect sense that in the future they would have technology that you pretty much just don't walk around in reality. You just walk around in this cozy world because, as you and I know, and as Thanos, despite it being who he is, he did make a good point. Reality is often disappointing. What are you doing?
I was looking up the Kuberts.
No. Well, anyway, I enjoyed this book. I think it's something that, especially since it's on Comixology, I'll have to pick up the other ones and finish reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's fun seeing Snyder do genre stuff again, and it's interesting if we'll also see something like this. That's not, and we've seen a couple of those with Substack. We talked about it a long time ago on the show. If we're gonna still see more things like this for Comixology and more artists doing things like this, where they do things out of the norm of what we're used to seeing them doing. Anyway, that's it for this week's.
So yeah, Emma.
I'm just gonna wrap it here.
That's fine. Emma Kubert. Yeah, Emma Kubert. I don't know if she's related to them at all. Anyway, are we doing long box? What the fuck, man? I was trying to sleep, bro. You better have a bowl for me to wake and bake, man, because this is bullshit, man.
Why are you ruining it?
I was asleep, man.
It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Sleeping, man.
It's a perfect little